Hey everyone, this is Riddle Hakaraj Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Hightown season number 2, episode number 7. And yeah, with only 3 more episodes left, stuff happened in this episode too. So the episode opens up with a flashback. We have Charmaine coming to Cape Cod with her sister Eileen. Now, in the previous episode, Eileen died because of an overdose, and Charmaine, yeah, in the flashback, we see Charmaine and Eileen basically talking about how they're going to run the entire area, they're going to own everything. And yeah, in the previous episode, when Charmaine was talking to Alan, Charmaine was displaying this very serious persona, and she was hiding her feelings, and I appreciated that the writers decided to give Charmaine a chance to show more of her true feelings in this particular episode, because after the flashback we actually see Charmaine sitting on the bus and she's going to go and meet her Uncle Wayne, and she's remembering Eileen. And yeah, losing Eileen, that's a lot for someone as young as Charmaine. But we do get a scene between her and her uncle, where basically her uncle tells her that no, you can't back out now, but I'll get to that in a bit. Then we cut to Jackie spending time with her dad, because in the previous episode, because she had nowhere else to go, she decided to go and decided to spend time with her dad. And it's the next morning and they're playing on the beach, and yeah, Jackie is drinking, and I'm like, you know what, Jackie, considering your journey, your dad isn't the best influence on you. And a lot happens in this episode regarding her relationship with her dad. So yeah, her dad's like, you know what, I'm betting on this game, so we have to go to the bar and see what happens in the second half. And Jackie's like, okay, I'll go with you. Then we cut to Ray. He's out for his morning run and he's still using the tracker to see where Renee is. Renee is basically still at her house. It's Thanksgiving. She's preparing a meal, the Thanksgiving dinner, and she's mashing potatoes, I guess. And Ray is messaging her, and yeah, because of Ray texting her, her sister is very curious about who's texting Renee during Thanksgiving. Frankie is being paranoid as well. And then we see their son playing around the house, and Renee is like, you know what, you shouldn't be playing in the kitchen, go play with your dad. And he does go and play with his dad. He actually throws the airplane right into Frankie's face, and because Frankie is worried about Jorge, he snaps at the kid, and Renee has to come in, and she's like, you know what, nothing happened. You should listen to me when I tell you that you should stop playing, huh? And Frankie's like, Renee, you need to control your son. Then we cut to Alan's Thanksgiving, and he has the whole family at the table with his wife. And basically, Alan's prayer, his Thanksgiving prayer, it's running a bit long, and his wife is like, you know what, you need to cut this short. So he cuts it short, thankfully. Thankfully, as far as his family is concerned. However, before they can eat, he gets a call, and yeah, Alan's wife is like, "You said no phones," and Alan is like, "It might be important. I have to take it. It might be work." And yes, it is related to work. So it turns out that they found Jorge's car. It has been sitting at the parking lot for 3 days now, and Alan goes in, and Alan is like, okay, so what about the CCTV footage, security camera footage? What's up? And then this police officer here, or the guard, she shows Alan the security footage, and this person is parking the car and then walking off, and Alan is like, you know what? I for sure know that that's not Jorge. So have you opened the trunk yet? And the guard is like, no, we don't have a warrant. And Alan is like, wait, I think I hear someone inside, someone trapped inside. So open the trunk. They do open the trunk. There's nothing in there. And Alan is like, you know what? I need to figure out where Jorge is. So he makes a few calls. Then we cut to Jackie spending time at the bar with her dad, and yeah, Jackie is basically talking to her dad about how her life is. Her life is very tough. No one loves her, not even Leslie. And she is like, "Dad, are you even listening to me?" And her dad is like, "Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you." And as they're talking, her dad's current girlfriend comes in, and Jackie is like, "So you're really hooking up with this woman, huh?" And yeah, Jackie's dad is like, "Hey, be kind, okay? Be kind." So she walks away, and again, this is where Jackie is like, "Dad, does mom know?" And Jackie's dad is like, "Yeah, she knows. We have come to an arrangement in a relationship where we actually accept each other for who we are. So your mom knows that I hook up with other people and I drink and I do drugs and all of that stuff." And Jackie's like, "But do you still love her?" And this is where her father is like, "Yeah, I do. But your mom is like the sun." a bit, you don't need too much of it, but you can't survive without it. And Jackie is like, oh, that's so romantic. I wish someone felt like this for me. I wish someone loved me like this. And her dad is like, hey, there are people who love you like this, huh? And Jackie's like, not Leslie. And I would die for Leslie. She's got it bad. But yeah, Jackie's dad is like, hey, I love you, okay? So he shows a queer tattoo that he got on his, I think it's one of, a bit above one of his pectoral muscles. And Jackie's like, you did this for me? And her dad is like, yeah, I did it for you because I love you. So Jackie's dad wins the game. They have money, so now it's time to party. So to go over to a guy called Pete. While that's happening, we cut to Osito and the nurse, and Osito, not necessarily nurse. I think she's a doctor, or is she a nurse? I can't remember. Hmm. Is she a doctor? Anyway, a physiotherapist. Okay. So yeah, and she is like, "Hey, why did you give me a car?" And this is where Rosita is like, "I just wanted to show you that I'm for real, and I look out for my friends." And we have this entire scene where Rosito tells the doctor about his upbringing and how he wasn't Haitian enough when he came here and all of that stuff. And he's like, I think we can be friends and all of that stuff. And the doctor is like, if people found out that I ended up being gifted a car from you, it will be over. So I need you to take the car back. So he was like, okay, doc, up to you. But as he's walking away, this is where the doctor is like, hey, wait, they're going to do a search tomorrow, so I'm just warning you. So yeah, I guess Osito has Doc on his side, and she's going to look out for him. And there's also this romantic spark between these two because yeah, this doctor, she isn't getting paid enough. She really isn't getting paid enough. But I am. With only three more episodes left, I'm looking forward to seeing where this relationship heads. So Charmaine goes to meet up with her uncle, Uncle Wayne, and she tells Uncle Wayne that Eileen died and it was an accident, but it was her fault, and she wants to quit. And yeah, Wayne is like, no, 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 you can't quit right now. You're in way too deep, and you basically own the area. And but she's like, hey, I lost my sister. It's too much. And Uncle Wayne is like, use that as your strength. Now that you've lost someone as close to you as your sister, you don't have any more weaknesses. So you're basically invulnerable right now. You're invincible. So keep at it. Alan decides to call Leslie and he's like, hey, where's Jackie? Jackie's still sick. I guess she hasn't shown up to work for 3 days now. And this is where Alan is like, did you find something at Charmaine's house? And Leslie is like, no, no drugs, no nothing. And but Alan is like, hey, I have another lead. It has to deal with Jorge. So I'm going to go to Frankie's house and I'm going to ask some questions. And he does that. And Renee is there as well. And yeah, Alan asks questions about Jorge, about where he is and how they found his car in the parking lot, and Frankie isn't happy that not Jorge, my bad. And Frankie isn't happy that Alan showed up at his front door, and he's like, "Hey, Alan, it's Thanksgiving. I need to go back to my family to enjoy our dinner, and I think you should do the same." And as far as Jorge is concerned, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. But you know that Frankie is very, very worried about Jorge. We cut to Pete, and he's giving Jackie's dad, and Jackie's dad's girlfriend a whole lot of drugs. And Pete is also basically, I guess, he's attracted to Jackie, and Jackie can sense that, and Jackie isn't happy about it. And yeah, Jackie's dad's girlfriend is like, hey, don't be too rude to her because she's a cop. She'll put you behind bars. And he's like, hey, you're a cop? Well, Blue Lives Matter and all of that stuff. And he ends up giving her a whole lot of drugs, which she takes. And at first I was, yeah, during this scene really made me uncomfortable. And I was like, Jackie, you need to get out of here. Thankfully, she does. She does get out. Then we see Renee hooking up with Ray because yeah, she's in trouble, and this is also where Renee basically asks Ray if he can look around to see what Alan is working on. He's like, wait. So Alan came to Frankie's house, and Renee is like, yep. He's freaking out about Jorge, and Alan was asking questions about Jorge. So I need you to make some calls and see if you can tell me what Alan is working on and how Jorge is connected. And Ray is like, yep. I'll make some calls. Then we see Jackie at her dad's place and they're still having a party. Jackie's playing the piano. Apparently, she started taking piano lessons because she had a crush on this girl from school. But yeah, Jackie's dad's girlfriend isn't into it. She's into other music and they continue partying. Jackie goes and falls on the couch. And this is where her dad ends up giving her some crack. And he's like, hey, take it. And Jackie takes it, and I'm like, Jackie, all that progress you made, why are you doing this? So as she's asleep, basically she's knocked unconscious after taking that crack, and this is where she dreams about Daisy dying. And yeah, another dream Leslie gets about people people dying on the beach. So she wakes up, she makes her way downstairs, and Pete is there, and he's having an argument with Jackie's dad and his girlfriend. And Jackie's like, wait, dad, what's up? And her dad is like, hey, the party is still going on, but we don't have any more money, and Pete is holding out on us. So do you have any money? I need $80. And Jackie's like, I have a few dollars. And this scene, wow, wow, wow. In this scene, her dad basically tries to pimp her out. He's like, you have been enjoying drugs and alcohol on my by using my own money. Now it's time for you to step up, and Pete likes you, so I want you to spend a bit of time with Pete, take him to see your room, do that for me. And Jackie, wow, this is where Jackie realizes that being with her dad is very, very dangerous for her. It's not worth it, and she needs to stay away from his as far. Yeah, she needs to stay as far away from his as possible. Thankfully, Pete doesn't try to assault her. She hands over a few dollars to her dad, and she gets out of the house. I mean, just stay away from your dad, Jackie. So the search continues in the cell, and one of the guards pulls away the poster on the ceiling that's hiding a whole lot of drugs, and the drugs aren't there anymore. And yeah, the doctor's warning proved to be helpful. Then we cut to Renee and Frankie meeting Charmaine at Xavier's, and Charmaine is like, where's Jorge? What about Jorge? And Frankie basically insinuates that Charmaine might have something to do with Jorge disappearing, and Charmaine is like, wait, I didn't do stuff like that. And Frankie is like, well, Jorge is missing. The police are looking into it, so we should lay low for a while. And Charmaine is like, no, no can do. If you decide to pause the operations, there are a whole lot of people ready to take your place. So what's it going to be? And this is where Frankie is like, well, you know what? You're right. So Renee is going to step up, and she's going to take over from Jorge. And Charmaine is like, don't mess it up. Renee is like, never. And as Charmaine is walking away, Renee is like, really? You want me to take over from Jorge? And Frankie is like, yep, it's time for you to step up to the plate. Then we see Ray going to meet Felix, and yeah, Ray has some information that he wants to give to Felix. He's like, Jorge is missing, and I get that the Cuevo brothers are back in business because of me, but I'm trying to make amends. And Felix is like, you know what, we're also looking into this criminal operating from New York. He's basically responsible for a majority of the drugs that are being distributed. So we're looking into that. And Ray is like, that's good. But how can I help? I can help, right? And Felix is like, no, Ray, no. You have helped enough. I don't need your help. So get out of my office. Then we get to see Jackie. She's trying to recover from her very, very, very rough night, and especially what she went through with her dad right now. So she ends up calling Vince, and she's like, Vince, I'm ready. Will you be my sponsor? And before Vince can actually say yes or talk to her further, there's a knock at the door, and it's Leslie. And of course, Jackie opens the door, and Jackie's like, hey, Leslie is like, okay, so I'm not here to talk about our messed up relationship, but I'm here to talk about professional stuff. So if you're going to disappear for like 3 days, you need to call me or you need to call Alan. And Jackie's like, yeah, I apologize. I just had a very rough night, and I ended up meeting my dad. It wasn't the best. And Leslie is like, okay, Jackie, you know what? I'm just glad that you aren't dead. So maybe the thing between Leslie and Jackie might continue. Who knows? So yeah, this is where Leslie is like, I want you to contact Daisy for me, and she walks away. So Jackie tries Daisy's cell. She's not picking up, so she decides to go over to Daisy's house. She's not answering the door. She finds the key under the mat. She breaks in, and yeah, Daisy hasn't been here for a couple of days because she's dead. And Jackie notices that she didn't take her birth control pills with her. She also left her cat back at the house without any food, and I felt so sorry for this cat, all hungry for like what 2-3 days now. Poor kitty. So Jackie's like, hey, I'll get you the food. So she opens one of the cabinets, and there's a whole lot of alcohol in the cabinet. Osito then goes to the doctor to say thank you, and the doctor is like, I did what I needed to do because, as far as I'm concerned, I look out for my friends. And Osito likes that, and they do kiss. And the doctor is like, Osito, you need to go now. Then we get to see Renee meeting up with Ray, and this is where Ray basically gaslights her. He's manipulating her in order to serve as an informant on Frankie. He needs her to get information for him from Frankie, and wow, the way Ray manipulates her, it's well written. It's uncomfortable, but it's well written. Ray is like, you know what? The DEA are looking into Jorge's disappearance. He was a snitch. He was a rat, and now they're looking into Frankie. And you're going to get into trouble as well. And Ray is like, why would I get into trouble, huh? And he's like, well, you are engaged to Frankie. You can't be an innocent victim in all of this. And they're possibly tracking you as well. So he ends up making Renee paranoid, and he's like, look under your car. There's probably a tracker in there. And she does look, and she finds a tracker that Ray put under her car, and she's like, oh, Ray, you have to help me. You have to help me. What's going to happen to my son? I can't go to jail. And again, Ray is like, you can give me information on Frankie, and when you have given me a whole lot of information, then you can plea to be pardoned or for immunity. You have to do this, Renee. And Renee is like, what if Frankie finds out? What if he tries to kill me? And Ray is like, no, you'll be protected. Nothing's going to happen to you. I'll protect you. Again, as I said, very uncomfortable to see Ray manipulate Renee like this, but a very, very well written scene. So kudos to the writers. So Renee tries to sneak back home, but Frankie is already waiting for her, and he's like, hey, Renee, where were you? Renee is like, I was out running errands. And Frankie's like, we have to go out right now. And I'm like, uh-oh. Is he going to threaten her? Is he going to intimidate her? But no, they go off for a ride. While that's happening, there's a knock at Ray's door, and Ray is like, who is it? It's Jackie. Jackie basically brought Daisy's cat to Ray's house as well, and she's like, Daisy's missing, she's dead, I saw her in a dream, and then I ended up checking her house. She didn't take her birth control pills with her, she left her cat. People don't just leave these things behind, huh? So I'm going to take all of this information to Alan, and I'm going to open a case into Daisy's disappearance, and it might be connecting to the Cuevo brothers or something. And Ray's like, wait, Jackie, you need to calm down. You can't just show up like this in front of Alan. You have to become sober. So we'll go together tomorrow in the morning. And Jackie's like, yeah, you're right. So I'll head on home. And Ray is like, you can't head on home looking like this and acting like this. You're drunk. And Jackie's like, yeah, I messed up. Then this is where Ray is like, well, you can rest in my sofa cum bed. You take the bed, I'll take the floor. And as they're getting ready to sleep, Jackie's like, Ray, will you lay down with me? And Ray does that. He does, and Jackie basically becomes the big spoon. And she's like, Ray, we can make out a bit, but no D stuff, huh? Basically, a little humor between friends. And Ray is like, shut the f up, Jackie, just go to sleep. So we cut to Frankie driving Renee off, and Renee is like, Frankie, where are we going? And Frankie is he's basically scaring her. He's like, all of this has to do with Jorge, so just go with me. He takes her to this secluded forest. It's the middle of the night. It's dark. It's scary. He tells her to start walking while he's behind her with a torchlight. And I'm like, considering what he did at the end of the scene, I was like, Frankie, you really made an entire production out of this, huh? Drama queen. So they end up reaching this secluded trailer, and yeah, Renee is really afraid for her life because she thinks that Frankie is going to kill her right here. And at first I was like, wait, is Frankie going to torture her here? Or is he going to leave her in the trailer all locked up and gagged? But no, it turns out that this trailer belongs to Jorge, and there's the secret stash of money, and Frankie checks that, and apparently, yeah, it turns out that Jorge hasn't taken a single dollar from the bag, which makes no sense to Frankie. And Frankie is like, well, if Jorge was running away, he would never take money from the stash. He's dead. Someone killed him. And Renee is like, are you sure? Are you sure that someone killed him? And Frankie is like, yep, I'm sure. So you do realize that it's now us, right? I can trust you. Renee is like, yep, you can trust me. And this is where the episode ends. Again, as I said, if Frankie was just going to tell Renee that this trailer belonged to Jorge and he had money stashed here, he could have done that earlier. But he really ended up scaring Renee for some reason. But yeah, 3 more episodes left. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, especially because Ray wants Renee to be an informant. And Frankie, If he ends up being just a bit suspicious of Renee, he might end up hurting her. But let's see what happens. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.